All right, hello everybody. Welcome once again to the Adventures of Eredean, and this time we're once again talking about this whole paid-for mod debacle. Just this big kind of clusterfuck, might quite frankly. Um, I'm not going to talk about too much about how I feel about it. I will talk a little bit about it, but really I want to update on a lot of this stuff. So the first thing I want to talk about is wet and cold being hit with a DMCA. Um, I have researched, looked all over I could find, and I have not found one credible source or really anybody who knows who hit this with a DMCA. But it should be noted that there are so many resources that Wet and Cold uses, including stuff like SKSE, that it's really hard to pin down just one that is a possible credible one. I mean, if you just look right here, it says, SKSE basically needs to be installed. So, the other thing I want to say though is, it's still on sale. You can still buy this thing. That's kind of crazy after it got hit with a DMCA. So I don't know if it's a credible DMCA, and I have not been able to find any credible sources saying one way or the other. So moving on from that, I didn't want to talk about that yet. Oh yeah, I did. So basically, Chesko, who made the Art of Fishing mod, basically kind of left us all this stuff that's saying why he did what he did, which he also borrowed from FNIS for his New Idols mod, and in this right here that I found, which is a screen cap from a Steam, if we can get that over here, a little better. There we go. So Chesko, he was the developer of the Art of Fishing. There we go. And it basically, he asked Valve, and he said it was all clear as long as it was a free mod, which just blows my mind that Valve would tell him this. I'm not surprised, though, at this point. I'm really not surprised, because Valve is kind of doing some really shady stuff. And so this is kind of, again, this is as credible as it gets, because it was Chesko, and, he has this Reddit page right here that you can look at. And the problem with this being that Chesko has basically deleted all of his social media. You cannot find him again, which I can't blame him for, because apparently he was getting a lot of... I mean, the bullying is crazy going on right now. And, I am I'm one who is against this stuff, but the bullying is insane right now, and that is just not okay. That is just not okay. You can't... you can protest this all you want. You can be against it, but for the love of God, treat people like humans. Gods, okay? Just stop, please. You gotta treat people like people. You gotta treat people the way you want to be treated. And moving on, if you want to see a pretty good video, on the workshop that kind of looks at both angles, please go check out Total Biscuit. I'll have him, his video right where the Twitter thing is right now. You can link to that. It'll be linked to that, blah, blah. Click it. You can check it out. I think he has good points for both sides, but he does kind of go over again, like, the bullying going down. The other one I want you to check out is Gopher. He has a good one, paying for mod first impressions. He kind of supporting, again, it's kind of down the middle. He looks at both sides, but I think I also saw at the end of his video, he, which, if you don't know who Gopher is, he's basically the mod creator of iHUD. He's also got a lot of good Skyrim stuff that you can go check out, Fallout stuff as well. I strongly recommend it. I've only seen him recently because a viewer basically told me to check him out, which I really appreciate that. I always feel free to tell me about other YouTubers. I don't really mind at all. But Gopher, he kind of has a good discussion on this from a mod creator standpoint, which I think is very important to have, the standpoint of a mod creator who does, want his stuff to be free, of course, but, one of the problems I always see with this system that Valve basically did is, not past the money they've been getting from it, past that, is that it's, there's no free option. There should be a free option. I think it should be a pay what you want no matter what. It should be a pay what you want system that, it just really enables that donation system so much easier, something that I think Nexus is trying to employ, which is really awesome if they figure it out. But I think this would be a very awesome way to doing that. But I think it should be more of a donation system, of course. But I think that, just having a list of, you have free at the bottom there, and then 99 cents, 25 cents, whatever, going up and up and up to that $99. I don't care, that'd be great, I think. But again, this is from a good video from a mod creator's perspective. The other thing I have is this very awesome article done by Eleonora, which is on her website, Geekdom in the North, which is a pretty awesome website. And I think this is another one that, from a mod creator's standpoint, I think I'm just looking at that TLDR. It's absolute garbage. She kind of goes over her initial feelings, being angry, and then letting it sink in, and kind of that understanding of, I can understand wanting to be able to get money off of all your hard work, which is completely fair, but the way they're going about it is poorer. And I think there's a great article that goes about this. I'll have a link again on this page, as well as in the description. Now, another thing I kind of want to go over while I have the thought in my head is I believe I found the information on the Valve cut of the paid mod thing, basically. So before we were believing it to be 75% for Valve, that's Bethesda, not knowing the percentages there, and then 25% to the mod creator, which Chesco apparently, I mean, if you look at the thing that Chesco basically said was basically that exact thing, that 25% was going to the mod creator, and from what I have seen, apparently the split is 30% Valve, 45% Bethesda. I have not found any credible sources to find if this is true. We can just pretty much take the word of Chesco at this point that is true as well, that the 75-25 cut. We don't know for sure. That is the only resource I found, and it is fairly credible, but like I said, I like to have a lot of sources before I say something's absolutely true, so there's just my 2 cents in there that we don't know yet. But moving on for that, there's this awesome thing that the Creation Kids have done. Eleonora is a part of that, and all the everybody awesomeness, the Forever Free, and this is just this is modern resource tools, a lot of cool shit, a lot of cool shit, and I just think it's awesome that they have this. And I'll put a link again on this page to go check that out. There will be links in the description. I'll try to put links in the description for everything, maybe in the comments. I'll try that. But yeah, basically that's everything I wanted to talk about, I think. Yeah, but again, on my own opinions, I think not to quote Eleonora, but I think that this is pretty much absolute garbage. I don't think that modding should be necessarily charged for. I don't mind. I've seen on the mod pages that there's a donation version. I wouldn't have mind that ever. There was a donation version for trying to remember. It was the Art of Stealth, I think. And it was just basically a donation version, and I wouldn't have minded that either. But I don't necessarily think that unless it is a crazy mod on your own website, I just don't see it happening. But hey, whatever, just my own opinion. I wouldn't have minded, like I said before, if it was just free, 25 cents, 50 cents, 99 cents, all the way up. I think that would have been a great system, but I really don't think Valve and Bethesda should have a cut in that. But at the same time, even having, I mean, that's just a donation system, the way I see it. But the way the system is now, that it's just behind a paywall, there's so many people who make these resources that some of these mod creators are using, just like FNIS and Chesco in the Art of Fishing, that completely get cut out of it. And I mean, it's another thing with that Wet and Cold. There's a lot of people who worked on Wet and Cold and a lot of resources that Wet and Cold uses. And, it seems, again, this is not a credible source that I've seen, so I'm not going to say anybody in particular, but Wet and Cold seems to only be going to the one person, and that's just not right. So there's that and that. The other one thing I wanted to talk about, which is something I've seen and I can't find any really credible resources for, but I've seen it, so I got to be the credible resource. I'm going to quote that. Is Valve has been censoring shit on all of these pages like crazy. Anything that talk about anti-paid mods, anything that, to be fair, anything that's so verbally, abrasive, so rude, that I've seen a lot. I don't feel like that's completely, I feel like that's just wrong, and, I feel for the mod creators who are being attacked this way. Because I'm just as a human, I don't want them to be berated. I want them to understand why the community doesn't like it, which is fair. But Valve is just taking all of these away, even the fair ones that are just kind of being like, I don't really like this, please stop this, being taken down. All of them. I've seen, just on, like, Wet and Cold, I've checked the discussions on there a few times. If we go back to there, there is now 6. There is now 6 of these things, and I can't access that, but that's fine. 6. There were 4 a little bit ago. And these 2 are the ones that just recently came up. So, well, a day ago, basically, is when I checked. But there were a bunch before, and now you can see all it is well done. Well done. And stuff like that. That's not what was there. There was stuff that was basically like, this guy hit with a DMCA, blah, blah, blah. Why did this happen? Stuff on the lines of that. Or, the anti-paid sub, anti-paid mod. And they're gone. They're gone. Valve has been taking these down, and it's insane, and I can't stand by that censorship. And I'm just really surprised at Valve for this. I mean, they've done some shady stuff before, but they've always kind of, came back with it. But, after this, green light, stuff like that, it's just been insane lately. And I gotta say, the petition, I'm not gonna link to that or anything, because I'm just not. The petition has hit its sign goal twice-fold at this point, which is kind of crazy. But I really want Steam to kind of get this idea that what they're doing isn't cool. But that's just my opinions. That's the opinions of some of the other people I've shown. Um, please check them out. Total Biscuit, probably fucking well known, but Gopher, great Skyrim stuff. Like I've said, I've only seen him very recently, about the last 2 weeks or so, but really awesome stuff. And thank you to the viewer who showed me their stuff. I very much appreciate that. And Eleonora, of course, I will always link to her stuff. She's awesome. Probably my favorite mod creator because she is just really active in the community and just super awesome. But past that, if you can find any credible sources to some of the stuff I've discussed, the DMCA, basically the Skyrim or the Steam cut between the modders, I think that's really all the credible sources I need. But any credible sources for stuff that I've found in, or I've talked about in the video, or just any credible sources talking about anything here, I'd love to put them in the description and kind of have a nice compiled list of something people can look at and kind of decide for themselves. I'd really appreciate that. And that's about all I want to talk about for this. Just like a nice little update that was a bit more I won't say concise, but a bit more well-researched on some newer updates, basically. So, hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, I'm not going to ask you to do anything. Have a nice day, and have a hell of a week.